Here we have a new 2023 Hyundai Sonata Hybrid in the blue trim level. This one comes in curated silver on black cloth interior. And the powertrain consists of a 2-liter naturally aspirated 4-cylinder made with an electric powertrain and a 6-speed automatic transmission. And coming around the front end here, we do get LED daytime running lights along with LED headlamps. And they don't flash like that. That's just how my camera's picking up the LEDs. But really like the styling here, especially for it to be more of a base model. And coming around the wheels here, we still get aluminum, so those are going to be 16s. And then passive keyless entry on the front doors. We have the controls for our power mirrors, right side, left side, and you can adjust with this little circle here. And you can turn it off there. Power door lock controls, power windows. You get one touch up and down automatic for the driver's side, and then we have a rear window lock there, and that's where we grab the door. Really like they did that. Cup holder there, mostly for a water bottle, and then a little mat pocket there. 12-volt battery reset, lane departure, brightness for the AC controls and the gauge cluster. You can pop the trunk from up here, traction control, electronic parking brake, pull up to engage, hit the brake, press down to disengage. And then there's our 6-way manual driver's seat there. Now before we check out the legroom, let's take a quick look at this window sticker. And you actually get quite a bit for the money. And I mean, look at that price, $29,825. Very, very nice in my opinion. And look at that gas mileage too. And for a brand new car, that's impressive as it is, especially with it getting that kind of fuel mileage and all the standard safety features that come on the Sonata Hybrid Blue. Let's check out this legroom. So pretty good legroom. I have the seat in front of me adjusted for someone of my size. And I feel like where these seats are not as hefty, I have a little bit more legroom here. And then definitely a little bit more headroom without the panoramic sunroof. I just drove a Sonata Hybrid Limited, so big difference. But like I said in that review, I could still fit my legs on the outskirts, so I wouldn't recommend having a 5th person in the middle, but you could fit 2 adults my size with longer legs in the back, and then have the seats up front for people of similar lengths. And then back here we have our rear AC vents, USB-A charge port there. And we don't have a seat that folds down, unfortunately, but for 30 grand, I'm not even tripping about it. And then a fuel filler here, you just click that and then just close it back. And this one still has a little plastic on it, but coming around to the back here, plenty of trunk space still with this hybrid, as you can see. And then we have the tire mobility kit there, and it actually is supposed to go underneath this here, and you have that storage as well if you want to use it for something else. But let's pull that. I'm going to show you how the seat folds flat, and the LEDs do not flash here. That's just how my camera's picking it up again. And this one's just a little bit dirty, hasn't been through cleanup yet, so I apologize for that, but still like the styling of the back. And then you can just fold this seat down, run longer objects all the way to the front if you need to, and then you can just snap it back into place. Pretty simple. And then we have a storage pocket behind the passenger seat. And then to the passenger side here, 6-way manual seat. I like that we still are able to adjust the seat height on the passenger side even with it being manual. Glove compartment with owner's manuals there. Love having this little pocket here for the passenger. But all in all, so far, I just drove the same powertrain in the Limited. So for it to be 10 grand cheaper and still get all of these safety features, I'm very, very impressed. But I'm just gonna go ahead and take a quick look in the engine bay. And then this is gonna be a 2-liter naturally aspirated 4-cylinder. And you're gonna have your electric motor on the right there. But let's go ahead and hop in. So we get the vinyl wrap steering wheel here. Still really nice feel for it not to be leather. And I do love that design, as I said plenty of times. But over here to the radio, we do get our fuel economy. We can pull up here, the energy flow, and I actually like this view better than in the Limited. how it's kind of showing me what's going on here as opposed to having to look at the center stack and the gauge cluster. Now for the radio, we do get AM, FM, and XM still. And then we have wired Apple CarPlay, wired Android Auto, and Bluetooth too. And I just really like how this is just so much easier to use than the bigger screen in the Sonata Limited. And another plus is having a volume knob here, and then also being able to go through your track list without having to use the seat track buttons there. So I really like that. But we get a Wi-Fi hotspot. Vehicle settings are here. And then our backup camera is right there. And guidelines follow you as you turn the steering wheel. And still pretty good picture compared to the Sonata Limited as well, in terms of that backup camera. I mean, everything's pretty much set up the same. You're just missing a few features like the heated steering wheel, heated seats, so on and so forth. Oh, excuse me. Now, we still have the same dual zone automatic climate control, so we can set our auto to 3 different levels here. Sorry, there's a glare. And then we can adjust fan speed there. And then we can adjust where the circulation's coming from there. And then we can set it to just the driver only. And then that side's not getting that air if you want it all to yourself. And then we can sync it, adjust that passenger side temperature there. And then we have a USB-A port for your Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, then an additional charge port there, 12 volt here. And this is where the wireless charging pad would go in the higher trim levels, but I like that you can still put your phone there while you have it plugged in. Now for the shifter, like I said, it's a 6-speed, so press P for park, R for reverse, N for neutral, D for drive. And I like that we still have the paddle shifters in this blue, as opposed to the Limited. And then down here, drive modes. Same 4 drive modes: Smart, Eco, Sport, Custom. Then automatic brake hold here. Cup holders here, and then a nice pocket to put your phone there or something else if you want to. And center console cubby space, pretty generous. And there's a view of the back seat from up here. And going back to the steering wheel, we do have our mode button, so we can go through our audio modes here, whether it's AM, FM, XM, or if we have our Bluetooth or CarPlay set up, we can just toggle between that. Voice recognition button, volume, click there for mute, track list or radio station presets there. And then we have our Bluetooth controls down here. Right side of the steering wheel, Smart Cruise there, lane centering there. We can adjust the gap for the Smart Cruise and then set and toggle speed there. And then these are for the center stack of the gauge cluster. So these arrows up, down, and then we can hit OK. And then we can just go through the different menus. So you have those 4 at the top, the main menus, I should say. That you can scroll through the settings, the info, fuel economy, and then your safety features there. But I do like, even though this is not digital like in the Limited, I love how the gauge cluster is set up. So I have my eco, charge, and power still there, and then battery temperature, fuel tank there, and then it'll tell me if I'm in EV mode or not. So just really like that. Blinkers are here, headlamps. In auto mode, you can toggle your automatic high beams there, and then when the high beams, or the actual headlamps are on, excuse me, you can put your high beams on or flash them there. And then to the right side, we have one-time intermittent low and high for our intermittent wipers, and then we can toggle how fast we want the intermittent to go, and then pull up here and we get our front wiper fluid. And there's our push button start. And finally, here is our key fob with remote start. But now we're going to go ahead and take this 2023 Hyundai Sonata Hybrid Blue, out on the road for a quick test drive. So driving the Sonata Hybrid Blue in eco mode, really like just how, and I've said this in the Limited review that I did as well, I really like that it doesn't feel like the eco mode is trying to kill the engine the whole time. I still have pretty good acceleration. and I'm not feeling like the pedal is holding me back at all. So when I put my foot into it, I don't feel like I can't go. But that also just goes to show the sport mode in these are no joke. I'm gonna put it into sport mode now. And really where it shines in the sport mode is when you put your foot like halfway in the throttle and you get that torque from the electric motors. Really, really nice. And the regen braking is actually pretty solid. And another plus is gonna be when you are using the automatic brake mode, it's really nice because when you let your foot off of the brake, you're not having to worry about the engine starting up, because at first you're getting that instant torque from the electric motors while the engine is getting back to work. So that's just one of the pluses of having a hybrid. And like I said about the hybrid limited I drove, really like the 6-speed. Has just enough oomph to get the job done. But really just like this powertrain. I mean, to get 50 miles per gallon city, 54 highway, you're not gonna get that driving in sport mode all the time, but it's still nice to be able to have the power when you need it. And like, as I put it back in the eco mode now, put the cruise on. And there we have the adaptive cruise with the lane centering on. Just a really good system, as I said dozens of times. But this is where you really shine in terms of fuel economy. And of course, where you're really gonna get a lot of fuel economy is in this EV mode. So as the battery is charged up and you're driving around town, just using the battery, you're set to get probably 80 plus in terms of MPGs that it'll add to your fuel economy as it shows there. But I'm in EV mode now, and I like that the big green EV will change. So if you're in EV mode, it'll let you know, and if you're not, it'll let you know as well. But I will say it's kind of difficult to keep it in that mode, especially if the battery's not charged up. So driving in sport mode will use your battery up because you're using all that torque from the battery and the engine. So thoughts on the actual purchase of this Sonata Hybrid Blue. Really, really good option in my opinion. Drives really nicely, just like a normal Sonata. The regen is pretty good. It's not like regular brakes, but this system is pretty decent comparatively. And there's really not a lot that you can choose from that's still not an SUV in terms of just hybrid cars. They just discontinued the Malibu hybrid, I believe. They might still be making it, but I mean, I don't see any. Same with the Camry hybrid. It's just hard to come across these, and Hyundai's really the only one making hybrids that I see these days. And this is still a really, really good car. And like I said, for $30,000, it checks all the boxes in my opinion. You can't go wrong with this. So with all that being said, this will bring me to the end of my review of the new 2023 Hyundai Sonata Hybrid Blue.